Thanks.
Senator, question over here.
Yeah, my name is Eric Beecher. I started a solar installation company, Soul Power, based right here in Providence. And I'm wondering what can be done on a legislative front to encourage the adoption of solar energy and how we can support those efforts, especially with the expiration of the investment tax credit in 2016.
Well, the best things are to protect the tax credit and make sure that renewable energy standards are robust. At the state level, I think the state has done a great job. Art, thank you and your colleagues for the work that you've done on trying to support these industries. Marion Gold, who's the new, I forget what the title is, the energy director, commissioner, is got money that she's giving out to help support the development of solar projects. You've got spectacular solar projects like the one over in East Providence on the old landfill that are, I think, paying off big time. I think at the national level, the very best thing we can do is a proper carbon fee so that the market makes the proper adjustment. At the moment, carbon has these terrible costs, and it's not in the price of the product. That's a market failure. It's a market failure that benefits the producers, so people who would otherwise be big advocates for market solutions don't happen to like this one. But we can push through that, I think, because the public is increasingly behind us. And when that happens, it becomes a tidal shift in the economics of energy. Quick story, Atlanta, Georgia, that reprehensible group, the American Legislative Exchange Council, pushed for the Georgia legislature to put a tax on rooftop solar. The reason they did that was because rooftop solar was starting to match the price at the plug of power delivered through the power grid. So they had to break that before it got out of control. So who stood up against it? The Sierra Club? The Tea Party. They called themselves the Green Tea Coalition. And the Sierra Club was, don't you go messing with my solar power. And the Tea Party was, don't you go taxing my house. But they got together. But the whole reason that that interesting story took place was because you were close enough to that tipping point of solar, even without the market cost that the fossil fuels are causing all of us being included in the price. Even without that, it's close enough to the tipping point that the polluter-funded ALEC organization is desperately trying to put its thumb on the scales to add to the benefit that the fossil fuel folks already get.
Is your model residential?
Yeah, residential.
I mean, I think, again, we have to give Art sort of a commendation, because one of the sticking points was just the ability to do the lease, to be recognized, to have access to the grid, to sell power. Those are traditionally state issues. And I think we finally, through Art's efforts and others, we finally got to the point where Rhode Island is making it kind of, you can actually lease the equipment, you can do a business model that works. So keep up the good work.
And in a smaller way, we've done a simple thing, which is to try to develop a common app for solar installers. Because what I was hearing from solar installers is, this is a 3-day job to put up the project. It's another 3-day job to figure out how the town of Gloucester does it compared to Port, compared to Portsmouth, compared to wherever. So Marion is now leading an effort that we've organized to get a common app so that you can have it on your iPad, wherever you are, there's the application, done. That should drop the cost and the trouble considerably if it becomes a 2-hour-long process to get permitted rather than a 3-day-long process.
The only thing I would just say in addition to that, preserving and advocating for the tax credits and the tax policies that's supported at the state and federal level, there are a number of proposals that provide for financing. That continues to be a challenge. The upfront financing and sort of the recovery after. So there are actually a couple that are those proposals that actually have bipartisan support. But continue to advocate for those, because I think that's going to continue to be a challenge for the short term.
Yeah, thank you for that and your work on those issues.